I was the Crane Middle School Spelling Bee champion for 1999-2000. I lost in the regionals. My word was bilious. It's Bilious, not two L's. I will always remember that. Thanks, VISD, for the spelling foundation.
Wait, what was the definition of the word bilious?
Ever having to do with bile, the secretion of the liver.
All right.
Again.
What's up, everyone? This is another episode of Town Talk, and I've got some cool people here in front of me. So how are y'all doing? What's up?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Nice to be here.
I'm doing great as well. I was going to let Keisha take the spotlight for a little bit because people already have seen me.
Same.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Little
So
too
hi,
much.
I'm Keisha. I'm the Special Projects Manager in the City Manager's Office. I was raised here, left, came back. And now I get to be in everybody's business in the city. I get to know what's going on inside and in the community and bring that back for the city manager's office and council to keep up.
And us too, man. We need like all these people and all these feelers out in the community so that we stay informed. And so that's part of why obviously Keisha is perfect to be on this program.
Oh, yeah.
So, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? I guess now it's been 2 weeks or more than 2 weeks, but Citizens Academy, whenever you had to fill in for Jesus. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, she knows like all the, she knows all the inner workings of all the projects that are happening.
Yeah.
So great job on that.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Keep it up.
At least I can put a picture into a PowerPoint presentation at the very least. So.
Oh, she does do a lot of PowerPoint
Well, you
presentations.
painted the picture for us as you were describing it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I know we've got a lot of different topics to talk about, and we only have like 30 minutes because people, lose attention span after 30 minutes. So
I lose attention span
keep it
after
up,
30
people.
minutes, yeah.
We're filming this a little early, so bear with us, but it's going to debut on April 22nd. So, hey-o, Tuesday, April 22nd, listeners and watchers, if you're listening afterward. Hello, too. So some of the topics we want to talk about, obviously, is Growing Victoria. We always talk about that. That website did just launch this past month. And so kudos to Danielle, who's been working with her group to get that debuted and launched, getting the logo built, all of it. So it's now a resource out there. I know, on this podcast, we've been talking about it a lot with Mayor, with Jesus, with everybody and their mamas, I feel like. And so now it's out there. And so if you want to check it out, you can go to growingvictoriatx.com. So have y'all heard any buzz in the community about that topic? And do you feel like it's starting to land with people? Do you think they're starting to get it? Like, oh, I see the big picture. Like there's more to it than just fixing my street, for example, though we do that.
Yeah, I think people are starting to understand that we need the growth or understanding where it comes from and how this can help everyone, how it helps the school districts, how it helps the university, the college, the city, how it helps keep people here. So I think it'll be a great resource also for people who are looking to do business here. And even if you're local and you want to start a business, very easy to go, oh, hey, I'll go start here and figure out where I need to go from that point.
Right. So I just wanted to ask you too, like nonprofits too, like everyone, as I think someone said it in the past, as the tide rises, everyone rises itself. And so as a community, hopefully that's the goal. But so real quick, I thought about, aren't you involved in a lot in the community? Do you want to mention that real quick, just for first timers?
Okay, well, shout out all the boards that I'm on.
Right.
Meals on Wheels of South Texas,
Hey.
Victoria Bach Festival, Victoria Ballet Theater, Golden Crescent Urban Chamber of Commerce. I'm a sustaining member of the Junior League of Victoria. There's somebody that I'm missing that's going to be upset when they hear this later.
We'll plug it in post.
That's fine, yeah. I started throwing events with Moonshine Drinkery in the summer just to do something different and fun.
Yeah.
Because I travel for that stuff, and that's part of Growing Victoria, right? Why leave town and spend money elsewhere to do the things that we could just do here in town?
Yeah.
And I get to go home within 2 hours, right? Like it's not a whole drive or a flight back home. I could just drive back down the street. And so just kind of being in all those different groups and the stuff that I've done before has been really helpful and helped me stay connected to people who are doing things in the community, who are involved, who are working, these nonprofits and things, who have questions. I talk to Bethany from the United Way often as she's, researching grants and trying to do research on some of those things that we don't know what's going on in town, but that helps support our, business decisions and bringing developers in and bringing in, new types of industry who want to do business here because we kind of know all the ins and outs of what's going on, and nonprofits know where they can fit into and make sure their work has impact. So
yeah, it takes us all for sure. And Danielle's been talking a lot about that a lot to us about that. So we're learning a lot along the way. So appreciate that. Speaking of events, like why go out of town, right? Coming up this week is actually the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, April 24th through the 27th. Bobby Sparkman, shout out. He does a lot there. And then Downtown Rhythms is April 24th. That will be 5:30 to 11 at Victoria Symphony and Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Oh, that's who it's hosted by. My bad. It's downtown. Yes. You want to talk about that a little bit too?
So they are doing another joint event, which is super well attended if you've not been out there before. It's a lot of fun, all the cool cars. And then Downtown Rhythms has multiple bands playing. They have some local groups. They always have the instrument petting zoo for kids who've never seen some of these instruments before. Like maybe you've never touched a violin, you're 10 years old, but wow, that's, the first time, or it's not animals, it's instruments out there. And what's really cool is at the same time, Theater Victoria is opening a show, their spring show that same night. And so there's a lot of things going on in the area, but it's one of those ways we can see our De Leon Plaza being utilized fully.
For sure.
We put a lot of money into that, and it's a really nice space to do those sorts of things. And so it's fun seeing all those different community groups kind of come together and have events around the same time and play off of each other.
Yeah, agreed. And it is a week or two after the actual 200th birthday and 1 year anniversary of our bicentennial, which was April 13th. So again, we gave a big shout out to Joel in our prior episode, I think on New Year's Eve, but also to Keisha Smith. My goodness, this girl over here hosting and coordinating the ball. Amongst other things. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that was good.
Seems like it wasn't that long ago, I guess, but at the same time it was. I don't know.
I know.
Like,
Time
now
flies.
that you're saying that, I'm like, wow, it really was almost
Time flies when you're having fun or just losing sleep.
And I see all the events now as I'm going through the calendar on the website.
Yeah.
And I even see Romeo and Juliet too.
Yeah,
maybe you did say that. Well, no one said that because one of our coworkers actually is in that play.
Thank you for saving me, because I wasn't going to mention. I was going to skip right on over to Fiesta Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's right.
Maybe because I always bring suggestions to the table to her about how the play should be, but it never makes any of it.
I wonder
Maybe
why.
I'm talking to the wrong person.
In case you're wondering, we're talking about Sam Hankins, the one and only, y'all.
Yeah, so
that's funny.
You can check that out. But I mean, that's all weekend. Like that's a packed weekend, April 24th.
Yeah. So, it's packed.
Yeah. Good
anyway,
stuff.
Well, other than that, have y'all heard what's going into the new Red Lobster?
Is it another Red Lobster?
Is it cheese biscuits?
No,
is it cheddar biscuits?
That's all I want.
Just a house of cheddar biscuits?
Luckily, they sell those at the store.
They do.
Oh, man, that's so good. So, drum roll, please, folks. You probably already find out about this by now, but it's El Toro Mexican restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm excited.
I need more info on this. Yeah. I need more info on this.
That's all I know. So sorry to leave it vague, but that's about it.
How can I find more about this? I've got a computer in front of me. So.
Well, they filed the permit with the city, so that's how I found out. Mm-hmm. So I instantly emailed Danielle. I said, "What?" Anyway.
Cool. Can we just go grab Danielle real quick out of her office and bring her in here for more info?
Hey, can you come tell us a little more about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know she works really hard to fill vacant lots, and that was one of them. So I'm not sure who all had a hand in that one. I just know that it's getting filled, and that's a good thing for the city. Yeah.
In a good little spot, because there are a lot of restaurants starting to be right. Well, Longhorn Steakhouse, which I still haven't had.
Same. Toasted yolk, yes.
That one. Yeah. Have y'all had it?
Yeah,
I've been over there. I had a really great iced coffee, something super simple and basic, but it was the coffee was correct. Right around amount of milk. It's a lot of fun in there. It was also like 1 p.m. and they were like, we have $5 breakfast shot specials. And I was like, I can't do that at 1 p.m.
How do you do that?
On a Wednesday. That's
Wait, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m.?
p.m. They're only open 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you're going to get your $5 breakfast shot, I guess 1 p.m. is the time to do it.
What is in that? Like scrambled eggs, sausage, cheese? I don't know.
No, but El Toro does give us another place that we could put on the Tacos and Margs trail that Joel has. And so I'm always down for a Tacos and Margs trail. However many spots I can hit in the same venue, area, right? North side one day, south side on the other.
That sounds fun.
Hit in the middle.
Okay, I'll call you up.
Let me know the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to sit out this one, guys.
Oh, man. Well, what else is up, guys? Spring break happened a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Wink, wink.
Say Easter was just this weekend.
Yeah, Easter. Oh, yes. But the bathroom is what I was most excited about at the Lee Tracy Park.
What a jump.
From that to that.
Okay. We're talking about bathrooms.
I just have to say, if you're a mama out there or a daddy or a guardian of any kind, you guys, and you're taking your kiddos or something out at the Lee Tracy Park, and you're over there at the playground or the splash pad, which I hope you're all enjoying right now with this beautiful weather, you notice that you've got to trek all the way over there at that hill to go to the bathroom. So anyway, it's just a big deal, especially when you got to change your kid's diaper.
Yeah, I have it. I have do
you know about that life, AJ?
Which one? Were you talking about the actual restroom being placed, or we're talking about like tracking any diaper situation I've probably have already known about. Or definitely?
Definitely. You're making it sound very ambiguous here.
Everything that involves any kind of potty breaks for children is interesting no matter what.
Yeah. We both have kids if you haven't caught on.
I don't. So I appreciate this for y'all.
So we do have the restrooms up. This is when I guess they were first installing it all. But that would be nice to have because to your point, it is tough, especially mine now having been transitioning over to, big boy underwear.
Yeah.
And so having it nearby is going to be nice.
Well, and I know sometimes people are like, why do you spend so much time focusing on Ethel Lee Tracy? And we have all these other parks. But Ethel Lee Tracy is one of the 3 parks in our Parks Master Plan that we decided to focus on, that Riverside and MLK Park. And so it makes sense to continue with our plan. Why did we spend all this time doing it if we're not going to focus on it? So.
Exactly. And I love that you brought up the master plan because it does address all of the parks. And one of the ones that's coming up in the future that we mentioned in the past with Lisa, who is the director of Parks and Rec, if you didn't know that, was the new children's park that's going to be completely renovated at Riverside. Yep. So various aspects of parks being upgraded, and Jesus likes to say it all the time, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. What he means is you can work on various areas of enhancing livability, including your streets, at the same time. You just have to factor it into a year's worth of budgeting because we can only pay for so much in a year.
Yeah, and different community groups also utilize all of our different parks, and some of them have different initiatives that they're working on or things that they would like to see, and we do take that into consideration when we're looking at what the plan is for the next year and the action items that we go into. So I know that the bathrooms was a big one, again, for not having to trek over that hill to get to them. So glad to see that moving forward.
But I guess going back to streets, go ahead, AJ.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of that kind of brings a certain, I don't know if it's a concern, but always there's never anything to do, type of aspect when you have kids and everything. But when we're going ahead and doing these projects and trying to help make some of these parks better, some of the children's playgrounds better. Now there's something to do. That's part of the plan.
Use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Is that what we're still talking about? Or just the parks in general?
Sorry.
Okay, good. But seriously, and it's at an affordable cost. And a lot of us like to budget what we do, right? We can't always take fancy trips over the weekend and go out of town. But even though those are great, you got fun stuff to do here at no cost. So I always appreciate that. No one goes to a community to check out their streets is what Jesus has said in the past, and it's true. Albeit, he really and council are prioritizing 214 miles of streets over the past 5-year period, which was ending in 2026. Then they're going to reevaluate and see, okay, now that we've completed these, what can we bring now in the next 5 years? So it's amazing. That's 50% increase from the 5-year period prior. So streets are getting fixed. I just have to say that. Every time I make a joke, I always have to come back and clarify, but don't worry, they are being prioritized. What else is going on, guys? What do y'all want to talk about next?
Well, I know everyone has seeing all the work going into our public safety headquarters. And so I'm really excited that they'll be, finishing and closing the drywall and all of that has started going in. I'm excited because our Mayor's Youth Council will hopefully get to tour, weather permitting and nothing major happening next week. And so they'll probably be the only other group other than our Citizens Academy that it's outside citizens getting to go in the building before it opens. So I'm excited about that and excited for them. They've had a really good year. We've had some really great interest with the students on different topics in the community. They've gotten to hear from our Parks Department, Environmental Services, of course, from the mayor himself. They got to tour Fire Station 1 and learn hands-only CPR, which was one of their most exciting things. They want to go tour the library again, but I'm holding off on that. But they've given some good input. They've been able to give input on policies or things that are happening that they heard about and weren't sure about, ask those kinds of questions. It's also a helpful tool when we talk about like our Citizens Academy and ambassadors, having some of our almost youth ambassadors explain what's actually going on and how things work in the community. They were incredibly excited about how the landfill works, which you would think would not be that exciting of a topic.
Were they really?
But shout out Daryl for making the landfills really exciting to, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. And I'm excited because this will be our 4th year. Next school year will be our 4th year of the Mayor's Youth Council.
Nice.
And so within a couple of weeks of this coming out, we should have the applications back out again.
Awesome.
In May, I'm going to wait until after the election, but they'll be open through the summer, and then those close at the end of August so that we can get started in September with our next youth council.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of youth, okay, specify, what are their age group?
So it's juniors and seniors in high school of the school year that we're going to, and they just have to go to school inside Victoria County. They don't have to live inside Victoria County. This year we had a student from Industrial. We have a student that goes to school here but lives in Port Lavaca.
Oh, cool.
And they meet twice a month, essentially. They do a couple of service projects, one of which they do help volunteer with our Tejas Fest. They get to ask questions about what's going on, the different things that come up at council meetings, topics that they're interested in that affect youth in the community. And then again, as we're working on maybe some bigger things that requires outside input, stuff that may affect them, things that they see going on, they get to give their input on it that in a way that a lot of people don't know how, or they've never seen the process, so they get to be part of the process and learn that firsthand before they go off to college. A number of them are very interested in civics and in government.
I was just about to ask that, like, I guess most of the students that sign up for this, like, what are they looking to get out of it, right? Like,
some of them are
the career path of that, or
some of them are super interested in the career path. Some are just wanting to know more about how the city works. I have to really, really always shout out the 2 students who started this a couple years ago and brought it to our then Mayor Bach Night, because one of them applied to Princeton, and this was the thing they asked the most questions about was her involvement with Mayor's Youth Council and what did that mean and what did that entail and how did that work? And she was so excited to talk about it, and then she ended up going to Princeton, which I'm like, but they didn't care about anything else. Well, I guess they did. I'm sure they did, but
that's cool though, because that kind of probably points to the fact that what is this Mayor Youth Council that y'all are talking about? Like, I'm assuming not many applicants, or probably. Do many cities do this? Is that a thing?
So it's a growing thing that that the state of Texas, or our Texas Municipal League, really wanted to put out there. I think it became a priority of Governor Abbott a few years back, and so it's growing. But we've had the city of Cuero has reached out, New Braunfels, some other cities around us who have wanted to start one and kind of just had questions about what it entails and what they do. And every city is different in the way they operate, but the last mayor and our current mayor have both kind of just let the students lead and kind of talked about where they wanted to go and what they wanted to know, and that's been fun because they helped me remember that I'm not as young as they are anymore. And so the things that I think are exciting, I'm like, oh, by the way, again, landfills, real cool. They're like,
or like a new children's bathroom,
the new children's bathroom. So
they'll learn that someday, probably not right now.
They're like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, kudos to those 2 young students who thought to, I guess, work with the city and the mayor at the time to start this. So thanks to you for helping coordinate it and bring it to completion. I know that was a lot. You and I had initially talked at the onset of it of, okay, how are you doing Citizens Academy and how can we imitate that to just make it more centered towards youth? And it is interesting to see the different perspective that they even have themselves. So
the questions you get are very different.
I bet.
And rightfully so. I mean, they're not asking about property taxes at 16, right? Like, they are more interested, though, in streets and, like, are you fixing them? Is my street closed down?
But that's what's amazing is that they're not interested in property taxes because of their age, but at the same time, like, they're being introduced to all of this at a young age. I certainly was not at that young of an age. And so brazen up the next generation of local government leaders possibly is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? Is it my turn?
It is your turn. You get to pick the topic. Let's spin the wheel of topics.
Spin the wheel.
We need a wheel of topics. What are we doing?
Like, to keep moving.
We could add that
on the screen next time.
Well, you did mention election.
Yes.
And you wanted to make sure that you were opening up your Mayor's Youth Council application process for after the election. So I'm going to go ahead and segue into that. So we are, in fact, today, first day of early voting for the May 3rd election, several of which items on the ballot will include the, of course, community center expansion and renovation project headed up by mayor and council. And then the others, of course, being the mayoral race, Mayor Dwayne Crocker and Jacob Sauceda. And then, of course, our super districts 5 and 6, which are Dr. Andrew Young and Mark Lofgren. Of course, they didn't have contenders, but they will show up on the ballot. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone had that URL in front of them, the website for the community center, in case they want to continue to learn more as that information is being put out.
I was going to say, can we get that on the screen?
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It is victoriatx.gov/community center. And what it is answering just the basics. What it is, when to vote, frequently asked questions. Can you pull that up? Because that's my favorite part of this. See, there's presentation that Jesus and Mayor are giving throughout the community, but this part right here is what fascinates me the most, because as y'all know, we help post stuff on social media. And so when I see all these questions, coming through on the threads of anything that we post out there, just that's purely informative, my thought goes to, wow, these people really need the answers. Otherwise, they're just not going to have all the information they need to make a well-informed vote either way you want. And so this right here will help you do that. So I highly, highly encourage anyone out there who is invested or at least interested in the community center expansion and renovation project, visit victoriatx.gov/community center. Check out the FAQs. Can you go on that real quick?
Back to the FAQs?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
It talks about, will property taxes go up? No, your property taxes are not impacted. It's only visitors who come and use a hotel room or a motor vehicle rental. Who is eligible to vote? Only those who live in city limits. When is election day? May 3rd. So anyway, that is what will happen then. Speaking of, just generally voting and politics stuff, TAMU Victoria, that is a thing, guys. I don't know what's going on there other than it was brought by Senators Lois Kolkhorst and Paul Betancourt to the legislature. And so we'll be following SB 2361 along the way. We just talked to Mayor about that too. And so we look forward to learning more about the process itself. I certainly have not tuned in as much to that process. Have you guys in the past?
A little bit. Years ago when UHB was working on downward expansion is the last time I really paid attention to.
That was 2012, I think.
Yeah, earlier than that, 2009 or 11. Yeah.
My goodness.
And this is exciting because last legislative session, Senator Kolkhorst secured funding for the mental health facility that's coming that the county is in charge of. And so this is exciting to see another big thing for Victoria.
I thought it was. I mean, I know we can speak freely about that. I obviously used to work at UHV too, so I completely am excited about just rallying behind our community's university. Either way, whoever is going to help bring resources to the community. But personally speaking, being an Aggie alum, I am very excited about that possibility. But regardless, having a university in a community is an economic driver and support. So looking forward to seeing what happens with that bill.
Yeah. I mean, it's all new to me, and I'm sure like everyone else didn't even know you had to bring it as a bill or any of that. So, I mean, I've had tons of people tell me that. They're like, wait, you have to bring it as a bill? I was like,
yeah, it's certainly bringing a lot of eyes and ears on it because of the name and the brand, honestly, of Texas A&M University, the Texas A&M University system itself. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who maybe didn't typically follow the legislature, but are now like tuning in and saying, okay, what does this mean?
Exactly.
What are the next steps? Which, by the way, Keisha, thankfully, let me know that it concludes in June, right?
Yes, at the end of the regular session is in June. So
that's when we should know everything. That's when everything's like finalized.
Yeah. They got to get stuff done by then. Nice. They can't introduce anything new after a certain point anyway. So we will see where that goes. I mean, it's exciting. Having a university in our city is something that makes us stand out from a lot of other areas in the first place. And so there are people who don't know about Victoria till they find out we even have a university here.
Exactly.
And so whether or not this bill goes through, I'm really excited to see the growth and the new things coming for our local university and all the staff and everybody who's really contributed and wanting to contribute to our community.
Absolutely. We truly are, regardless, just excited about the visibility, heightened visibility of our local university, regardless of the brand or the system resources attached to it. just excited to advance it regardless.
And to your point, Keisha, like the fact that we have a university and the way that everything around it is starting to look, it really does feel like an actual university campus. I mean, we went to A&M and it just, that's gone wild itself. But even then, like walking around and then having gone to VC my first year, and it was like really not much going on. And then now all of a sudden it looks like a university.
Well, VC too has grown big time.
So
kudos to President Jennifer Kent.
I was going to say that's
like crazy.
Amy Mundy, like man, they are doing a lot over there too. It's
that'll
amazing.
be a really cool facility that they have when that's complete soon too. It's right behind public safety headquarters.
Yeah, we had a couple people in our Citizens Academy that worked for VC, and that, I mean, they were excited about it as well. Like, so
yeah. Well, regardless, I'm very excited to hear about the future of higher education, and not just higher education, but education in general in our community. The more that we can all advance, the more that, to Mayor and Jesus's point, we can advance our community. And so looking forward to hearing from Dr. Sheila Cuellazo as well. So that'll be great. VISD superintendent. Shout out.
VISD grads here.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
My brother, everybody. Almost everybody I know went to VIC, and you're like, you end up back here, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Like, when you're younger, you're of course, you're like, oh, this is awful, and I want to go. And then you're like, it cost me less money to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can do this. And be like, oh, I remember that school. Those sorts of things.
That's pretty fun. Well, Keisha, it's been great having you on. You should come on more often.
Thank you for having me. I probably should not come on more often. Who knows what I will say or not supposed to say.
That's why we have you on here. It's fun.
Where are the secrets at? Come on.
Yeah, speaking of VISD, I was the Crane Middle School Spelling Bee champion for 1999-2000. I lost in the regionals. My word was bilious. It's BILIOUS, not two L's. I will always remember that. Thanks, VISD, for the Spelling Foundation.
Wow.
But that's awesome. I was a spelling bee champion for VISD.
Wow.
I was a Hal Wildcat, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was too.
I mean, we could definitely start a whole different episode on this where we're just.
On middle school rivalries?
Because I was about to go into the mascots. And
my Crane Comets are gone, though. Now they're the Crane Cougars because it's elementary school. So
I didn't keep up. Yeah. Are they still Wildcats?
Yeah.
How Wildcats? Okay.
Yes, they are.
Come on.
You can't change that.
Can't change that.
Wait, what was the definition of the word bilious?
Ever having to do with bile, the secretion of the liver. Right. Again, shout out VISD. I was a spelling bee kid from third grade on. Well, before third grade, but they let me all right, you want to read more books? You want to go spell some stuff? Go do that. And
that's awesome.
I still have the plaques, all the medals in the house.
Wow.
Which is my fun fact is that I bought a house and didn't tell my family for like 6 months.
That is a fun fact. I was going to ask that, but I think you've shared some pretty solid facts.
Yeah, those are my two fun facts. I was a spelling bee champion, and then I secretly bought a house.
So you just don't want people over? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, it's got a keypad lock. I get to know who comes in and out. But I do have all my VISD memorabilia in there.
Yeah, you have to.
We got to lock that up.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
maybe we can bring it back when we meet with Sheila.
Yeah. I'll have it on the table, all the trophies and things.
Well, you're welcome
so
here.
Funny.
Okay, we'll let you know that this office, you're welcome here.
Thank you. You don't have to lock me out of this one.
Yeah. No, we don't. Come back anytime.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Town Talk. Hope it was informative and entertaining. We'll talk to you next time. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Town Talk. Check out future episodes at victoriatx.gov/Town Talk, or of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Spotify account. Make sure you hit that notification button to be sure that you get alerted instantly when our new episodes debut. You don't want to get behind, you want to stay informed, so make sure you do that. We appreciate your support. Couldn't do it without you. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you next time.